Composing in New Realms, Extended Metaverse Workshop. Welcome to the Extended Metaverse Workshop in Zoom. This presentation will give multiple operational definitions of the metaverse to adapt and build on for your area of expertise. My offline name is James and my online name is Sidearm. I am a practitioner in applied online presence. I have 25 years corporate experience in analysis and business and 20 years entrepreneurial experience in entertainment and arts. Today, we will cover operational definition, canonical metaverse, and extended metaverse, then segue into a dialogue to create new options and ideas for use going forward. Please have something to write with and something to write on, and jot down your thoughts throughout the presentation. Timeline and protocols. Our timeline is data, reflection, dialogue. Data will be presented in voice and image. Reflection will be in self-written notes. Dialogue will be in text, chat, and voice. Please use text chat for questions and when asked for responses, and keep your mic muted otherwise. As time allows, voice will be enabled as well, and I will call on you by your screen name. The screen will be moderated and recorded. At the close of the meeting, you're welcome to stay and dialogue further. We will start and end on time. We will now watch a brief animation. The purpose of the animation is to help clear the mind and awareness. So take a breath, sit up, stretch, relax.
Is there sound? Is there supposed to be sound?
I cannot hear any sound.
Done. Thank you, whoever said that.
Mm-hmm. Always questioning.
There is sound.
Zoom doesn't make it easy.
Here we go. All righty. Word one, data. People do not agree on the metaverse. Isn't the metaverse just a bunch of cartoon characters? Isn't the metaverse just another big company scheme to make money and steal our personal information? Is the metaverse really a thing? Should we even take it seriously? Is OpenSimulator a metaverse? Is Zoom a metaverse? Is a door a metaverse? What are the minimum requirements to qualify as a metaverse? Example, the metaverse is a hustle. This cartoon shows two moviegoers who have paid for 4D glasses so that they will experience the illusion of the passage of time. One of them appears to be skeptical. Does this remind you of anything? Example: the metaverse is like a hat. This diagram shows that 3D and 2D online content both require an electronic infrastructure to deliver them. Yet pride of emphasis is given to 3D and the rest is de-emphasized. Does this remind you of anything? Example: Alexander Graham Bell invented the metaverse. This photograph shows a bizarre mashup of technologies required to create a 1900s working caricature of a modern phone. Does this remind you of anything? Example: we are already living in the metaverse. This slide shows two definitions of the metaverse. The metaverse is reality in the digital age. The metaverse is a persistent online digital environment with two-way, multi-user, co-creative, instant access. The first definition is a bit grandiose, and the second a bit idealistic, although more specific. Do these remind you of anything? Operational definitions change concepts into measurements. The last slide said the metaverse is a persistent online digital environment with two-way, multi-user, co-creative, instant access. This is an example of an operational definition. An operational definition changes a concept into a measurement. The business consultant and statistician W. Edwards Deming helped the Japanese auto industry become world-class in the 50s. He changed grandiose concepts of quality into specific measures. Deming said that no concept is usable in practice until it has been translated into a measurement procedure that can be observed and reported. This means that you can ask yes, no questions about the concept supported by numbers. For example, regarding the definition that metaverse is instant access, traditional email would be out as the metaverse. Instant messaging would be in. Deming emphasized that if you change the yes or no questions that are being asked, then you are changing the operational definition. In particular, there can be more than one valid definition. Example: chair has more than one valid definition. According to dictionary.com, a chair is a seat for one person with 4 legs and a backrest. The picture on the left shows a lady chair with 4 legs, but with the front 2 legs crossed. This meets the definition, but does not look comfortable. The picture on the right shows a beanbag chair with no legs at all, but you can sit on it and it looks more comfortable. It also looks harder to move. Dictionary also says a chair is something that supports. So there are multiple operational definitions for chair, distinguished by yes/no questions such as 4 legs, yes or no, backrest, yes or no, support, yes or no, comfortable, yes or no, easy to move, yes or no. I give lady chair 4 out of 5. I give beanbag chair 3 out of 5. Both are different, yet both are operationally chair-worthy. The operational definitions change based on the yes or no questions that are most important to your use case. Deming gives us good news and a warning. It is not an issue if there is more than one operational definition. It is an issue if you and others you are meeting with are using different definitions and do not know it. Example: Metaverse has more than one valid definition. According to dictionary.com, a metaverse is a shared, realistic, and immersive computer simulation. Dictionary also says a metaverse is a theoretical or emergent networked online space. So there are multiple operational definitions for a metaverse, distinguished by yes or no questions. 7 tests to distinguish metaverse apps. Here are 7 yes or no questions I find useful to distinguish metaverse apps. I give OpenSimulator 4 out of 7 of these. I give Zoom 3 out of 7. Example: 7 more tests to distinguish metaverse apps. Here are 7 more tests. Of these, I give OpenSimulator 6 out of 7. I give Zoom 7 out of 7. OpenSimulator is an example of a canonical metaverse. OpenSimulator and Second Life are the examples of a canonical metaverse. They are canonical because there's a book about them, Snow Crash, written in 1992. Think about your own experiences in OpenSimulator and real life as we read what Neil Stephenson said back then. He is in a computer-generated universe that his computer is drawing onto his goggles and pumping into his earphones. In the lingo, this imaginary place is known as the metaverse. He is not seeing real people, of course. This is all part of the moving illustration drawn by his computer according to specifications coming down the fiber optic cable. The people are pieces of software called avatars. They are the audio-visual bodies that people use to communicate with each other in a metaverse. So, a canonical metaverse provides digital embodiment and 3D, fluid, free camera views of a recreated self, environment, and others. Canonical 3D metaverse platforms. 10% of the world's adult population already use canonical 3D metaverse platforms. Zoom is an example of an extended metaverse. What is the metaverse became a hot topic in public awareness and media because the pandemic in 2019 forced people to communicate using two-way instant access apps like Zoom. And Facebook in 2021 renamed itself to Meta. In response to the new buzz, Scott Stein, a senior technical editor at CNET, published a contemporary definition of metaverse in 2021. Think about the apps and platforms you use or see used every day as we read his definition. The definition of metaverse now is sort of a future-forward social hub, a space where avatars can meet, an ecosystem for connected apps. A VR and AR ready dream of bringing people into some sort of virtual universe that's as creation-friendly as a Minecraft, as popular as a Fortnite, and as useful as Zoom, Slack, and Google Docs. The future of tech doesn't lie just in VR or AR, but in a mix of many devices accessing a shared online world, which may be more immersive and 3D than the internet you're currently using to read this story. Notice the operational elements. Connected apps, yes or no? Space where avatars can meet, yes or no? VR and AR ready, yes or no? Creation friendly, yes or no? Popular, yes or no. Useful, yes or no. More immersive and 3D, yes or no. I give OpenSimulator 5 out of 7 of these, and I give Zoom 5 out of 7 of these as well. Theorists try to cover the bases. Tsilanos Mistakidis, a professor at the University of Patras, published an academic definition of metaverse in 2022. I find it a useful reference. A remote-controlled door hints at an extended metaverse. The top picture shows a smart doorbell. The delivery lady rings the doorbell. The camera in the doorbell sends the picture to the grandmother's phone app. The grandmother knows it is safe to open the door. The bottom picture shows a smart door opener. The phone app can trigger the door to open. There's more. The top right picture shows a lady doing a yoga arm balance pose. She is using her brain to monitor her senses and her muscles to control her body. This is proprioception, the sense that perceives location, movement, and action of parts of the body. What's the connection? The grandmother is using her brain to monitor her electronic senses, the doorbell, and is using her electronic muscles, the door motor, to control her electronic body, the door. This is the Internet of Things, web-enabled hardware that acts on data from its environments and human instructions. This is extended mind theory. As a prosthetic limb can become part of a body, technology such as computers and remote devices become part of our minds. The smart doorbell and smart door opener are available now on Amazon.com. This is the extended metaverse gone wild. When was the metaverse invented? The metaverse arrived without us noticing it. We don't realize it now till we look back. Snow Crash came out in 1992, 30 years ago. But that is also when the internet became a thing. 10 years later, Second Life came out in 2003. But that is also when the Internet of Things became a thing. Another 10 years later, Zoom came out in 2012. But that is also when the Oculus headset became a thing. And another 10 years later, Facebook renamed itself as Meta, which brings us back to today. Recap. As a concept, the metaverse exists in minds and imaginations. As practice, the metaverse exists in the multiple, physically realized design specifications with which we create, communicate, and collaborate. These design specifications are called operational definitions. Sometimes our use cases exclude particular metaverse apps from being used in favor of others. And sometimes metaverse apps become so attractive, we find new use case needs we never had before. We will now watch a brief animation. The purpose of this animation is to help clear the mind and awareness. So take a breath, sit up, stretch, get comfortable, watch and listen, and notice your thoughts and sensations. So before we begin the dialogue, we'll take a few minutes for self-reflection. Please have something to write with and something to write on, and jot down your thoughts for these questions. And then when you've got something down for each of these, or 3 or 5 thoughts, then just type ready in chat when you're done. So regarding the material that you've seen so far, what caught your attention? So just jot something down. What caught your attention? And regarding the material you've seen so far, what confirmed your own thoughts? What confirmed them? And regarding the material you've seen so far, what surprised you? And the fourth prompt, what needs to be said that hasn't been said yet? So please jot down several thoughts and then type ready in chat when you are ready. Okay, Lear is ready.
Saturn, did you see the message from William?
I
A little
did,
bit
but we
above there?
can't,
Okay.
it's not possible at the moment.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, appreciate you bringing that up. Rachel's ready. George is ready. Oh my God, Lear's born ready. James is ready. AJ is ready as she's gonna get. Al's ready. Just looking for Val and Stranger's here. Hello, Stranger. Val's ready. Joyce, I'm ready for waiting for you. Luca's ready. Good, good, good. Okay. So William, are you still here? I guess William is not still here.
No, I don't see him in the list.
Okay. Well, let's just start going. Do we have a volunteer that would like to kick us off? You're welcome to type in chat and or use your mic. And I'm going to stop. I'm going to leave this up just so that you can see the prompt questions. But I do have your faces visible and your chat and name visible as well. So if we don't have any volunteers to start, I will start picking people. I won't say picking on people. So James says he liked the telephone typewriter image. Good.
I want one.
AJ, let's hear from you.
Honestly, I was trying to work out what we were doing with the music and visuals, and then I started seeing that the music was kind of being represented visually. So this probably wasn't what you were asking, but that's where my brain was stuck.
That's exactly, I said, what caught your attention? Perfect.
That would be it. Confusion.
Good. All right. So more thoughts on what caught your attention? Joyce, what caught your attention?
Hold on, had to unmute myself. I was midst of typing, but I agree with James. I like the very steampunk looking phone. It looked like it almost had like a video screen on it too. And then I was wondering and would like to know exactly, like you were kind of rating things as you went, and some of those things, especially like on the Zoom and OpenSimulator side of things, like why they were getting a certain amount of stars or out of, a certain amount of points out of a certain amount of points, So
Good. Thank you. We'll keep going. Stranger, what caught your attention? Also, you all are welcome to answer any of these prompts. What confirmed your thoughts? What surprised you? Or what didn't get said yet? And Joyce just brought something up that didn't get said yet, which is how did you get 5 out of 7 or whatever? What were those 7 things? So that's fair. Anything is fair game. Stranger, what caught your attention? I see that you're unmuted, stranger, but I'm not hearing you.
Oh, I'm not seeing audio connected for
Okay,
stranger.
now maybe.
Oh, there
There
it
you
is.
go.
Yep.
I have to apologize. I've had some distractions and I'm not ready, so apologies.
It's okay. You want to just pass?
Yeah, I'm passing.
Okay, good. Not good that you're passing. It's okay. Anything is fair. So Al, what caught your attention or anything so far?
Well, I had the same answer as Joyce. The 5 out of 7 for OpenSim and Zoom. I assume it's not the same 5. What were the differences in that for the 5?
So you're dittoing Joyce's comment. I'd be happy to go back to that. If at the rate we're going, I'd be more than happy to go back to one of those slides if there's kind of a consensus that you want to
I'm
look
just
at that.
curious as to what the 5, what the difference would be. I assume it's not the same 5, right?
I don't know. We'll
Well,
have to find out. So,
You
but
came up with
let me
that,
just
right?
record for the record that you would also like to know what they were, kind of like Joyce. So, and I'm saying, well, maybe we'll go back and look, but we're not there yet. This is the prompts. This is trying to get some stuff on the table to build on.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's a perfectly legitimate thing that caught your interest. So, George, what caught your attention, Mr. Master Student?
Yeah, so it was rather can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. It was rather interesting that the timeline that you showed was going back to like the 1980s. I can't remember what the year was, but
Yes,
it
thank
was
you.
rather interesting. Yeah.
So the timeline caught your attention. Thank you. We'll keep going round and around, guys. So, Lear, what caught your attention?
Oh, many things did. The ratings certainly did. I was surprised over the doorbell being a metaverse or related to the metaverse because I like to think that there's limited access to it. And I like to think of my way of experiencing the metaverse is very social, right? And I'm immersed in it. Whereas the doorbell informs me that people are coming or things are happening, but I can choose to ignore that. You know, I think of that just like a notification.
Yeah. Thank you. Luca, what caught your attention?
So for the first 3 questions, I think all of them would be how different people perceive the metaverse to be. And that kind of like it falls up to the 4th question, which is what needs to be said that hasn't been said yet about the metaverse, which is, I think a lot of people, especially in public consciousness, people who might not be necessarily engaged with the, this kind of typical conversations about the metaverse, is that in the future, I don't think continuing physical existence as we know it today won't make that much sense, especially if you see the works of futurists like Isaac Arthur or Asimov. Almost all of them, they kind of predict that in the future, pretty much everything will be digital or virtual existence because that's more efficient and that's more, in a way, more true to yourself, your digital expression, because you can have a lot more control over it and you can exist for longer and so on. So those are my answers for all 4 of those things. I mean, all those questions.
Yeah. So you were caught by the way people have different perceptions of what the metaverse is, and then you were also intrigued by what needs to be said that hasn't been said yet. And I know that's one of your key areas of interest. So Grace, what caught your attention?
The remote door, but I think also thinking that this metaverse virtual worlds is this far away from me, where all of a sudden I realized through that and through looking at Zoom as part of this, that it's not out there to me, it's right here to me right now. I don't know if that made sense, but it was definitely a personal aha. Oh yeah, it's right here. It's not out there. It's not something I have to attain or go to or learn to get to, that it's right here.
It's already here.
Yeah.
Thank you. Very good. Val, what caught your attention?
Oh, you're muted, Val.
Thank you. I had typed real quick a couple things and I had to get to it. What caught my attention also was that phone contraption, because it reminded me that Sidearm and I have been debating our metaverse definitions for quite a while now. And at one of them, we're in front of this whole class of students in Second Life, and Sidearm was saying the metaverse is like an overlay of Earth and we communicate through it. And the tools we use, like Zoom and other apps, are part of an extended metaverse, like he said today. And I quickly replied, if that were true, Alexander Graham Bell invented the metaverse with the first telephone. But I don't think that's true, because I'm not immersed in a phone call. I'm not immersed right now on Zoom. And I don't think this is the metaverse. It's not like it at all. So I noticed, though, that now that's added to his presentation. And I think it's important that we have these collisions of ideas in order for us to clarify the word, because I don't think if we don't want watered down words, we want very clear definitions. So that caught my attention.
Thank you. So the Graham Bell steampunk, that caught your attention, kind of like it caught Joyce's. So let's go round robin again. Any of these is a fair thing to respond to, caught your attention, confirmed, surprised, needs to be said, or make up your own question to respond to. James, back to you.
Well, and would you mind if you'd stop sharing? Is that okay?
Sure.
Because in our recording, that'll make for yeah, there we are. It's nice to see each other. So could you restate your question?
What caught your attention? What confirmed what you already thought about the metaverse?
Okay.
What surprised you? And
So,
what needs to be said that hasn't been said yet?
What I enjoyed was I was thinking about the definitions, and I even typed in chat that definitions can be reductionist. And so while we're all kind of, I feel a lot of anticipation for getting to the metaverse, but I think as the technologies that grow and contribute to the metaverse, continue to expand, it's going to become less able to make that definition. The complexities of the universe it's going to be in such a variety of forms. And then just another opinion, one thing I keep looking for in immersion is the idea of persistence. So if I enter a specific space, I want to be able to have an impact on that space. And so many of the platforms I find, you go into a platform, you have an experience, but when you leave, nothing you've done remains. Yeah. Whereas in the real world, if I go in and mess up a hotel room, it stays messed up.
So I heard a couple themes in there. One is the definitions seem to getting more and more multifarious, and they're like too specific and too many all at the same time. And then you're highlighting the persistence as an important aspect of
for me. Yeah, that's one of my definitions.
That's fair. Yeah. Fair enough. Okay, Val, I'm just kind of going in the order that my magic list shuffles you around. Val, want another shot? Any of these questions, or keep going with the role that you're on?
Yeah, I have a few more things I can just mention about it, because it's when you talk about the canonical and the extended, to me, I feel like that waters down the metaverse. To me, the metaverse is a place. It's not an app. And I'm not in a place with you right now. I'm completely aware that we're separate. I see all of you sitting with your backgrounds, and we're separate. We're not in a shared place. The universe is a place, and the metaverse is a place. And so, yeah. And so to me, the only way that we can be in the metaverse is if we have an avatar. Without an avatar, you're not in the metaverse, you're in an application. You might have, there's great applications, nothing against applications. You have voice, you have ways to share lots of information, but without an avatar, you're not in that place.
Good. Thank you for making specific examples of having an avatar. And then I think Lear is dittoing you in chat about having a, you guys are having a nice chat there as well. I'm kind of trying to go back and forth. Thank you, Val. Joyce, you're next on this random list. What else do you would like to add to say?
Hey, first off, I loved in one of the definitions that it talked about the collective creativity, which is always, I think in some ways that's one of the magical sauces of Second Life and OpenSimulator, in its definition of the metaverse. And then I agree, like with James, like the concept of persistence sort of matters, though that, to some that may not. And I have a challenge for Val, because what about augmented reality, where you're laying something that is within a space into your real space? Or and even in some ways, like, I don't know if any of you have been into Meta's workrooms, right? In essence, it's like, what if you combine Zoom and OpenSimulator, or Second Life or anything like that, where there is a room full of people hanging, like you are coming in as your avatar around a table, able to, put things up on a whiteboard, share your screen in the virtual environment. But if somebody can't enter as an avatar, they can come in through a through a video feed, and there's a screen at the end of the table, and you can see them and they can see you into the virtual world. And so they kind of have an avatar, if you think of the same way that we have video representation of ourselves here, but yet they're not an actual avatar in the space. That's my cat's tail, sorry. And yeah, he just kind of plopped in. So that's kind of this weird middle ground, right? Where there's some people with avatars and some people that aren't, but yet you're all in the same space. And I wonder how, when things get to be kind of also mixing in more augmented reality of the other way around, with lots of virtual things coming in, and when you're in a physical self in space, like it's fuzzy. The middle's very fuzzy.
Let me call next. Sidearm, what have you got to say? Oh, me? Well, I would like to build on this conversation a little bit more. And as Val mentioned, she and I have been featured a couple times now in friendly discussions of comparing points and contrasts. So if you wind back, you may remember that I had my first 7 tests of, I feel, what is a metaverse, of which avatar is the #1 test. But I also argue that these are avatars that we're looking at on the screen, flat as they may be. So my second test was a free camera. If I could look behind James Outlad, or if I could scroll into Joyce's room and look at that interesting, what has she got under, what is she reading on that bookshelf? See, then that would be really interesting, the free cam. So I distinguish an avatar and a free cam just because it seemed like that we had to be able to do that. Or look at Luca. Luca's got, I would die to have that on my stream. Last year, she came in with a 3D version of that using George. You'd relate to this, one of those location sensor thingies that you guys have on your headsets. So how you represent yourself is, but that's just the first 7. See, to me, that's the tip of the iceberg. The second 7 spoke to what is to me, mandatory. It has to be instant, two-way, co-creative. And that's why Zoom had just as high a score there as OpenSimulator. Because you think about it, 10+ years ago, Zoom came out. It runs on all these frickin' devices. It runs on my Android, it runs on my wife's iPhone, it runs on Mac, it runs on whatever that, Apple, yeah, that thing. And it probably runs on Linux too. So it's ubiquitous. And talk about popular. I didn't even try to look up how many people use Zoom around the world. We go back to the canonical 3D metaverses that Val loves, and appropriately it's so. The number one canonical 3D metaverse is Roblox, 400 million active users a day or month, I think it was, MAUMs. They invented that. And Second Life, OpenSimulator are one. The second highest, Minecraft, which was even made the editor list. So they're the canonical 3D metaverse, which Val doesn't like me calling it that. For her, that it's the metaverse, dang it, is reaching 10% of the world adult population, 20 years and older, are using one or more of those things. And many of us have been to many of them, not just Roblox or Minecraft, but VR chat and Altspace VR. That's my first point. I stand by designating the canonical 3D metaverse, which we all know and love and use a lot. And then I still say there's the extended metaverse because both of them are on that root of the iceberg, which is connecting the world more and more and more and more and more and more. The second thing is use the list of yes, no questions. I have no problem with Val saying Zoom, a metaverse, bleh, because in her list of yes, no questions, the most important of which that you've brought up is, does it meet my use case? Because there are plenty of canonical 3D metaverses that would meet Val's definition, like The Sims even. This came up in one of our debates that she says, yeah, I'll concede that's a metaverse, but it's of no use to me. I'm not going to use it. So that's like the trump. The trump card is it of any use to me? And then I'll use it. Now, sometimes we have that choice. And sometimes we have no choice. We got to use it because the boss told us to, or because the people we care about and the project we work on, that's what they use. So you're going to go there and use it. Just like the students that Val and I teach from Turkey and Ireland are required to use Second Simulator and so forth and so on. Anyway, those are my 2 points. So the next person on the list is George. George, what is on your mind there in your little cubicle?
I'm muted again. Lol. Yeah, I'm at work, but yeah. What was I about to say? Well, I just say is what surprises me was the fact that yeah, we tied the remote door thing, and I guess that's just IoT in general, because you know I'm like an IoT guy, Internet of Things. So the fact that we managed to tie IoT devices to Metaverse is rather just an interesting thing and kind of surprising as well. But, you know, I mean, when I think of the metaverse personally, I like to think of just VR and like, you know, a device that like you attach to your face that you look through and just do that. That's pretty much my definition of like when I say I'm in the metaverse.
So how I hear that is that one of those key questions, yes or no, is does it work with my headset? And, you know, then there's many little details in there, like, does it work, take advantage of physical, you know, body trackers and all that.
I think that's like the biggest factor, in my opinion.
Thank you. AJ, back to you. Mute your mic, unmute. There you go.
I just had to find it. I think I'm kind of with Val on my definition of the metaverse. I need to be in an immersive 3D environment to really view it as part of the metaverse. I can maybe co-sign to Zoom being part of the extended metaverse, much like my third or fourth cousins are, a member of my very extended family, but they're very far away to the point where the genetic link just isn't that strong. I just always come back to that MuseWeb conference back in 2020, where a lot of it was held on Microsoft Teams, but the time off was held in Second Life. And the people really enjoyed that because it seemed like you were actually sharing space and your physical location in the world didn't matter at all. You were still here with these people. And that is, to me, the core and the soul of the metaverse, no matter what platform you're using. I mean, it can be Roblox, it can be OpenSim, it can be ScienceSpace, any number of worlds, but it needs that 3D immersive environment where you feel like you're sharing that space. That's important in my mind.
Very clear. Luca, let's go back to you. Anything on these questions or further reactions on the discussion? And don't forget to unmute your mic.
Oh, sorry, I was answering questions in the text chat. What was the question again? Sorry.
So we're just continuing the same questions. What needs to be said that hasn't been said yet, or what has anything surprised you in the conversation, or what is confirming your own ideas?
I think I've kind of said everything that I wanted to say in the first line of questioning. So I'm gonna pass the next one.
Okay, so you're gonna pass. Gotcha.
All right.
Good. That's good for Grace. Grace, how about you?
One of the things I was just thinking about when Val talked about us having different backgrounds, I know one of the new features of Teams, I don't know how new it is, Microsoft Teams, is that they have these views where it looks like you're all in the same place, where you're sharing the same background. And just wondering about, you know, because it's supposed to be more immersive to share the same background. So I was just wondering about that as part of the immersive feeling in something like OSCC, is that we're all sharing the same background. First of all, that's just one of the things I was thinking about. One of the things that surprised me is I've talked to a few people here. I was away from Second Life for about 10 years and just coming back last year. I had changed locations, changed institutions, and changed roles in the past 10 years. So I'm now a faculty person at a technical college, which is very, does not, well, let's just say 10 years ago, I was roundly told I should never say Second Life there, and they would never consider it. And I, you know, and go back to Colorado where you belong, kind of thing.
Yeah, same thing at my institution.
Yeah. But I guess what I had done is then made it separate. And so I'm coming back and I'm, you know, this big leap to trying to get to teach in a virtual world. And I think when you bringing up Deming, I teach Deming all the time in my management and supply chain management classes. All of a sudden I'm surprised with, wow, I'm not in, I guess when I first logged in here, I'm in a space where this is totally foreign to me. You know, you guys are all the teachers. I come in and I listen to you and I learn stuff, but I'm never going to do what you guys do, kind of thing, or never, you know, I'll never, you know, Lear Lobo, she's been, you know, rock star to me since 2007. But all of a sudden I realized what I've been doing is not that different when I get in to my WebEx classes, and my students tell me I feel like I'm in a face-to-face class when we're in class. You know, it's like, wait a minute, they're feeling immersion, and they, you know, it, I don't know, that's just some of the things that have surprised me.
Thank you.
So.
I'll ask Sidearm for a quick thought on all this again. I feel like, and I'm going to, you know, j'accuse, however you say that in French, we've been spoiled for immersive online experiences for so long that we go to anything that isn't the epitome of the canonical 3D metaverse. And what I feel like I'm seeing in the multiple environments I've been hanging out with in the last period of time, people are starting to get it. And they feel immersed in the silliest little things. So I said that I would like to have a dialogue to make some new options for what is the metaverse and what is the extended metaverse. And I did that bit about the remote controlled door for a Turkish class of 20-something-year-olds. What I've noticed, I would say, if you look at, let's call them 20-somethings and 50-somethings and 80-somethings, when I broach this idea that Zoom is a metaverse, the 80-somethings go, of course. The 50-somethings go, and the 20-somethings go, huh? Because it's all new to them, you know. So, I mean, that's a gross simplification, but I'm sticking to it for now. So we're trying to reach in some sense, for those that are teaching 20 somethings, some of them 20 somethings like George already get it. And they're building it right now. They don't just get it, they're building it, Internet of Things. And then the 80 somethings are actively using it and extending their lifespans because of it. And I aspire to move from being a 50 something to an 80 something. So what we're going to do now is move to a close and a debrief. Okay. And it's going to be interactive again, and I'm going to call on each of you again. But first, take a
Do you
minute.
need to share your screen again?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'm just going to tell you what the questions are. So you can jot this down. So when I call on you, you'll know what to say. The first question, what did you like about the workshop? Anything that you liked? Go ahead, jot something down. And if you don't have anything, don't worry about it. What did you wish about the workshop? And what I would really like is, what can you use going forward in your own work from the dialogue? What can you use going forward? So I'm looking to see who's writing and thinking. Al, how about if I pick on you first? What can you use going forward? And don't forget to unmute your mic and put on your headset.
Just that one question, not likes and wishes, just what can I use?
I'm sorry, I was calling an Al, not
Oh,
Val.
Al. Okay, never mind. I'll keep typing.
So
You'll
you
be
rhyme,
next.
but it's not Al. Okay, yeah. Well, you know, I just got to thinking, you know, I'm not too interested in definitions, whether we want to call Zoom a metaverse or not. I'm not interested in the answer.
Yeah, what can you use going forward?
But clearly, you know, we don't have this in OpenSim. We can't see people's faces. We can't communicate like this. And in some ways, that might be a benefit for some people. So there's a totally different apples to oranges comparison, in my opinion. I'm more interested in where we're going, which is the question, right? And Meta's
if I could
vision for
paraphrase, you see going forward, oh, there'd be something to communicating like this.
Well, I was thinking about as I put in chat, I mean, we could do a Zoom meeting in OpenSim if we had media on a prim on our chest with a video of a headshot. And we did the exact same thing that's in Zoom.
I'm going to stop you right there. I'm going to stop you there because we got to end on time. But Joyce just nodded her head like crazy when you said that. So make sure you talk to her about that. Which brings me to Joyce. What can you use going forward?
You have faith in
Joyce. It reminds, in some ways that concept reminds me even the simplification of something like what high fidelity became, right? A video conversational thing of avatars in world being just little circles with their video or little video feeds and like coming through while they're walking around in a 3D space, right? So yes, I still want like almost like a like a kind of bullet point list of all those in your kind of breakdown, like what exactly are these metaverse bits? And I know you listed some of them, but it'd be great to have almost like an analysis tool with that, and to see how things kind of square up, you know.
What I'm going to do, because we don't have time to go through it now, but there is the link to my slides in chat. And then we could go back at your leisure if you like, and I'll walk you through those,
sure.
those 7 points. So I need a volunteer who would like to say something next. Yes, this will be the person that go for it.
Hey, it's Lear. Okay, the answers to the 3 questions. The first one, what did you like about the workshop? I like the expansiveness. You were crossing over some boundaries, challenged us to think. And of course, you knew you were tackling certain extended definitions for metaverse that we would find maybe
sacred
a limit,
cows, right? Just say it. That's sacred cows.
No. And then 2, what did you wish about the workshop? I wanted to know, where should we direct our attention for future work? Because my vision of future work may be different than yours. So I always love to hear what people are saying about that. 3, what can you use going forward? being more accepting of the diverse ways in which others experience the metaverse. I feel a little like Clay Shirky, who says that social media stops being interesting for research among the pioneers once we have a deep saturation in it. We move on about the time the world starts getting excited about it. And then the question is, do we miss something because of our, extended view of this technology and our experience of it? Thanks.
Val, back to you finally. Val.
Okay. Yeah, I've got the likes and the wishes. Just let me just grab them real quick because I have too many windows open. For likes, I surprisingly really liked that opening of the animation because I felt like it forced me to kind of breathe and I wanted to work on my presentations that are coming up. And it's like making people focus is important. And that was surprising to me that I liked it that much. And the second one too kind of helped me focus. And then wishes, I certainly wish we would have had more time to debate because I wanted to say my definition of the metaverse. So I'll just type it here real quick. The metaverse is a computer-generated virtual environment where individuals interact in a persistent space through embodiment in an avatar. Now, I'm not saying, other people can have a definition, but I just wanted to say mine. And then the third thing, what can I use? I think this is an important, I like the way you did this, even though I don't really think Zoom is a metaverse, but I think I can use this dialogue to clarify my own thinking. And it's really important that we have opportunities to clarify our thinking and think critically. And so you demonstrated that, and that's something I can definitely use.
Thank you. So this ends the formal workshop and the recording. So James.
I wanted to add something, James.
No, go ahead.
I so admired Luca's avatar last year, and so I had to find some way of doing that. So I got the VTuber software, and I don't know if that helps with the embodiment, but I do enjoy it.
Yeah,
There you
it's
go.
really
And I
nice.
don't have to worry if my hair is combed.
You do have one little,
one hair.
Yep.
one floppy antenna hair thing. I pasted into chat too what GPT-3 thinks, GPT chat thinks of the definition of the metaverse is. I love polling it to see what AI's point of view is based off of what it's absorbed.
Well, my point was ends the formal workshop, but we are all welcome to stay and keep dialoguing. And I love that word,